Welcome back to Faithful to the Traitors. This series we are discussing the American series of the Traitors. I am Ben, and I am 100% faithful.
I'm Alex, and despite anything Brandy's been telling you, I am also 100% faithful.
Yeah, don't trust that Brandy.
I love Brandy.
Don't trust anything she says.
Her. Brandy and Kate are the twins, and they're the conspiracy twins in my brain. They're brilliant. Oh, they're just great.
Maybe not so good at missions, especially Kate.
I mean, yes. As we said in the last episode, there was a real emphasis on if they're bad at missions, perhaps you should vote them out of management, which doesn't make sense to me because I thought the whole point of the show is that you're meant to get rid of the traitors. I guess they're working on the
What's
premise.
more important, money or traitors?
Well, both are important. So
at the beginning, money. Traitors later.
To be fair, Brandy or Kate, neither of them were on the losing team in the end. The losing team were the ones who
thanks to them.
couldn't map read. No. Fair point. But they know. I love that during the challenge, Kate was just basically like, I would have rather been buried, quite honestly, because then I could have just laid on my back and had a nap for 45 minutes.
Yeah, she. I mean, percentage of effort Kate put in. What would you say? 10% effort?
She ran. She had a shovel in her hand. She did it with style. She,
Christian was on the opposite. He was like 110%, even though that doesn't exist. Effort of digging. Do you see him digging?
Christian.
He was digging all 6 graves at once, I think.
Christian's thinking of the money.
Yeah.
You can blame him.
He bashed bloody Brandy in the ankle with a shovel to get her out of the way.
If Michael put as much effort into the task as he did gossiping about poor old Geraldine, I think they probably would have gotten maybe a 5th person out of the grave as well. But no, Michael was too busy going, so you're voting Geraldine? Yeah, you're voting Geraldine, to everyone who'd listened to him.
I mean, before we go too much into detail about that, because Michael had a very bizarre episode today, we have to obviously pay our respects to the murdered at the beginning of the episode. Yeah. We always forget when this happens.
We do.
Every time someone's murdered in the beginning of the episode, it's old news by the second scene. But yes,
it's just how quick the show is, isn't it? How fast paced it is.
Reza, R.I.P. Reza.
I was surprised it was Reza. I thought of the three.
They made a mistake there. They should have got rid of Brandy.
Reza would agree with you as well. He got very upset, didn't he? Although he did say it was a brilliant move by them, and if he was a traitor, he would have murdered himself. Which, again, probably not a brilliant move by you there, Reza, but still. No. But of the three that were up, Kate, Brandy, and Reza, and it goes to show on this episode, they made the wrong decision. So those traitors aren't doing very well from the get-go. Hopefully, the only way is up. I'm hoping for them now. But already the infighting of the traitors seems to be happening as well because Sari. I wrote it down. It's Sari. Sari had...
Although Alan Cummings called her Siri. So...
Oh, did she? Oh, okay, fine. I don't feel so bad.
So there you go. Alan Cummings can do it.
I'm going to call her C from now on. C.
Because they called Geraldine G.
Yeah, so it's fine.
None of them can spell her name either. None of them.
One was spelled with a J. Goodness,
Rachel spelled it with a J, didn't she?
And I don't know if it's the same in this series, but we found out in the British series that they had their names written in front of them.
They
so
still
there was
got it
no
wrong.
reason for them to spell it wrong.
Yeah,
exactly. But anyway, C, as she is now known in my mind, she was already gunning for poor old... goodness me, I've forgotten his name already. Christian. He was already going for Christian. And at one point, even brought up Cody.
I know.
She was really... I mean...
None of the traitors can be trusted, apart from Christian. Christian's the only one who thinks they're working as like a team of 3, I think. Because Cody wants Christian out.
Yeah, Cody wants Christian out. C wants Christian out. Christian
they need
wants
another
Christian
role.
Stay.
They need a faithful traitor and something else.
I wonder if
backstabbing traitor.
I wonder if they'll introduce a 4th traitor at some point, a bit earlier on, because I think they need to.
They hate each other.
Well, and also Christian
the
needs someone
faithfuls
to be
don't have to do anything. They're just killing each other at the moment.
Well, Christian needs to be someone on his side. I feel bad for Christian because I don't feel like Christian's really doing anything too wrong. The only thing that's wrong with Christian is he's very enthusiastic. He's very excitable, and like when he was walking into the round table, he was going, "All right, yep, good luck, everyone, good luck."
Pumping everyone, tapping on the shoulder, hugging them,
and like Brandy gave him a really filthy look. It was like she stuck her finger up.
She doesn't like him because he hit her with a shovel.
Yes.
Which is valid. Fair point. I mean, at the beginning of the episode, didn't Brandy say, I just want to vote people out because they annoy me, not because they're traitors?
Brandy said that, she's got a list of people who annoyed her, and that's the ones she wants to vote out.
Important.
But then, but that's her priority. But then later on in the episode, she then got quite upset because when you found out that at the round table they voted out a faithful, I won't say their name just yet, but they voted out a faithful, that she was angry that they had done that, and she wasn't going to apologise either. The fact that she was adamant that Michael is a traitor, because everyone was kind of going up to each other afterwards and saying, "Oh, we had to do it, but that vote," and everyone was kind of being very forgiving to one another. But the evil twins, Brandy and Kate, they've just sat there with their glasses of Pinot Noir, can't be Pinot
waiting
Noir,
for
red
them,
wine.
weren't they?
But they were just
thought they were
sitting
being
there,
served to them. It's like, no, you go get the bottle yourselves, loves.
They thought Alan Cumming was going to come with them. That the actual host of the show was going to come over to them and just serve them wine all night.
I mean, this is the big difference I feel with the American and UK one. Is like they don't seem to be taking it as seriously on the American one. Like on the British one, there were people were crying, getting emotional, forging friendships. On this one,
there were breakdowns by episode 3.
Yeah, like even during the missions, they're talking about voting people off. Whereas on the UK one, they were like, "Oh, the missions are in a bit where we can get together and we can have fun and be friends." On this one, they're constantly talking about voting people off, and I don't feel like they're making like real connections or friendship groups. They're just kind of just there to play the game.
Yeah, in the UK
especially
version,
the brackets again, celebrities. Like they're literally there just to like, because Kate was like, "I don't care, just vote whatever. I'm going to bed." But it's like, okay,
I'm drunk on wine.
It's like I don't feel some of them have that actual passion to actually take the game seriously. They're kind of just there because they're
celebrity.
There.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. And this is another reason why they should not make a celebrity version, because I don't think a celebrity version would work.
I just want them to vote off the celebrities.
Yeah, and
even though Kate is funny, the things she does, I should be like, I much prefer the civilians because they're actually taking, like, that's why Christian, out of the 3 traitors, Christian is the one like kind of taking it seriously, and the other 2 are just like, let's get rid of Christian because he's not played a reality show before and we know better. And it's like, no, that's not
the spirit of the show. Yeah.
And Michael, he's a civilian, and look what he's done this episode. Much better than any celebrity. The celebrities just want to drink a glass of wine and not bother.
I mean, I agree with you. But
again, I say celebrity with inverted commas every time I say celebrity.
Thank you. They're so heavy. But Brandy and Kate, though, I do enjoy watching them. I'm here to slay. I do enjoy watching them, but I guess you're right. It's for almost the wrong reasons. The reason I liked watching the British series of
and there was
Traitors,
more tension with it because of it.
It was because everyone was kind of like very suspicious of one another, while Brandy and Kate are just like they're almost there for
annoying.
the paycheck. I'm wondering if they are getting paid to be on the show. So really the prize money means nothing to them. It's more the notoriety. And so they know that if they play up to the cameras, they're going to be more shown than perhaps the people
they have
who
shown
are playing
them more. Because there was one girl, the hairdresser, turned up halfway through the episode.
Angelica.
I don't know, we've seen her before.
Didn't even know she existed until this episode. She had 2 lines and we were like, oh my God, hello, Angelica. How are you?
New contestant. Yeah. It's like, so yeah, they are kind of taking up all the...
their oxygen of the show.
I'm hoping the celebrities just get voted out sooner, and then towards the end of the series, it's more of the normal people.
Well, it's one so far, so one celebrity.
Because even Bam turned up, and I was like, "Who is Bam?"
But that's because you've got on the notes that you gave me to look, so
Robert,
I know who I'm
Robert
talking about.
Bam,
You put him down as Robert.
Yes, but even so, I can't even remember seeing him before. He turned up.
No, he was new
so
this
who's
week. No, I know. I completely agree with you. And Michael was probably the most fascinating character, and as you say, he was the non-celebrity character this week, contestant this week, player. Cast member, whatever you want to say.
Let's talk about him. During the mission, his sort of gameplay began, and it was really strange the way he approaches.
When he saw that people around the breakfast table in the morning, so when they discovered Reza had died, he had his head cut off. A lot of people were focusing on Gerald. From the hangover from the following day was carrying on.
Looking suspicious.
Everyone was still saying that she was looking very suspicious. So, and unfortunately for Michael, he then made himself look suspicious by kind of pushing that agenda a little bit too hard. So then when it came to
subtlety, is not his forte.
It's not. But then he did say that he hasn't said exactly the reason why, whether it could be anxiety or something, but he did say that he does have a problem communicating with people, and perhaps the way he went about communicating with people was the wrong direction of doing it.
I mean, that is fair enough.
Yeah, completely.
But when he said to Kate, if you don't vote Geraldine, I'll make sure I vote you off.
Yeah, that was a silly move.
And then he says, I'm not very good at communicating with people. It's like, are you not very good, or is that literally the worst thing you could have said? Because you're literally threatening someone and saying, if you don't do what I say, I'll make sure I get you voted off.
But he might, that's what I mean. He might have a...
What did he think that would do?
He might have something where he puts his foot in it quite quickly. He might say something without even thinking it, and then afterwards dwelling on it for a really long time, thinking, oh, damn it, I shouldn't have said that.
He
that was the
literally
wrong
pulled
thing
someone
to say.
out of the grave with mud still in their eyes, dirt in their eyes, and he was like, you vote Geraldine?
Yes.
And he was just like, what?
But
that
again,
was the guy, the blonde guy, Kyle, wasn't it? With the
He obviously
mohawk
Michael
thing.
for Michael, subtlety is not his skill, clearly, and that's going against him right now. As it showed at the round table, because he was getting almost equally as many votes. That was interesting, I thought, at the round table, because normally in the early episodes, a herd mentality kicks in. One person accuses someone, and then everyone else jumps on that idea and goes
not
for
basing
it.
it on anything.
Yeah, but that's how a herd mentality works. It's not really based on any fact, but one person has said something. It seems somewhat reasonable, so everyone kind of jumps on that bandwagon and joins in. That didn't happen, I don't think, this time.
Yeah, it was much more split between the
It was
two.
split between two, and you could argue that there was maybe a mentality between the two of them, but it didn't. I was sure when they were going into that round table, it was going to be all Geraldine, 100% Geraldine. Everyone was going to go
Poor
for
Geraldine.
Maybe not as you say Brandy or Kate, but like
It amazes me they didn't go for Michael though, because of all the stuff he was saying.
they did go for Michael though.
No, but like as in to
8
get
of
him
them
out.
did.
I mean,
Well, a lot of them did. He was not far from being banished. And I think that scared him, because at the end of the round table, he then said, I'm really sorry, the way I went about it was wrong, but, I thought... But then he kind of didn't justify his reasonings, because we found out that Geraldine was a faithful, not a traitor. So that didn't help his
but then
cause
he
either.
cried, ran the round table and got everyone on side, so...
Yeah. That's the main thing.
He showed his commitment.
His emotional side.
But I do feel sorry that Geraldine went. It's not fair. And it's all Michael's fault.
Well... not really. There was a few people kind of pointing the finger at Geraldine earlier on. It's just that they all then used Michael as the reason for why.
It made me laugh when the three traitors were picking who to murder at the end. When Siri was like, she was really confident. She was like, to Christian, she was like, "Well, people said your name, so I think you're a bit worrying." And she was like really confident in that. And the Cody was like, "Well, actually, she also said your name."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh,
Whoops. Maybe that was
I'm not the best game player in the world after all."
But that's the other funny thing, that when the traitors get together, they almost see it as like a mini round table between the three of them. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're
not working as a team.
They're not working as a team. And
They don't trust each other.
And this is something else which is a problem with their challenge as well. Like the reason they didn't win the full $30,000 for the challenge was because they weren't working as a team.
No, they were just
really
running
weren't.
around like headless. It was just chaotic, wasn't it?
There was
And,
absolutely
they went the
no
wrong
coherence
way.
whatsoever.
One person grabbed a map and ran off, and they all just followed the.
Another team, which is the team that didn't get there in time, went the wrong direction because who was it? It was my favourite as well. It was Andy. Andy kind of pointed them, was reading the map wrong. There was no kind of working anything out. And as you said, like the difference between the US version and the UK version is during the challenge, everyone realised that in order to make the money, you have to work together. And so they
You
did
have to
work
stop
together.
playing the traitors game
Yeah.
and just play the mission for a bit.
Yeah, you put aside any kind of doubt, any kind of worry about who could be a traitor and who's a faithful, and play the game. Then when you get back to the castle, you can then have your little chats and conversations and start backstabbing and
But
whatever.
that's the trouble having the well-known people in. I'm going to stop saying celebrity and saying well-known, even though that's less of a accurate description.
Well known. Yeah, known. Not even
No,
well known.
slightly known. That's the problem with having the slightly known people in the show, because they don't seem to actually. They're not that bothered about the missions. I feel like I'm specifically talking about Kate here and Brandy.
But then they're putting on this image, isn't it? I feel like they've gone into it thinking, well, on the reality show where I make my name, where I become slightly known, I am this perception, and if I don't show that perception on the show, but then I think that's a stupid thing, because it's a competition. The shows they're both on are, again, heavily inverted commas, reality shows. This is a competition show. This is, well, maybe a competition reality show, but at the end of the day, you win money by earning the money and then voting people out. Brandy and Kate need to go into it with a different mindset. So perhaps they can't get their heads around that idea. And I think that could be an argument for a few of the, again, slightly well-known people who have gone into the show. While the people...
Moderately well-known people.
The people who aren't moderately well-known, as in Amanda, we saw Amanda in ER Nurse for the first time again this episode.
She appeared, didn't she?
Yeah, we saw Andy. I've yet to see Azra do anything. I can't remember...
I don't know who that is. Oh, yeah, she's not done anything, has she?
I can't remember her doing anything. Angelica, we met her for the first time this time.
Azra is a yoga instructor.
No, okay, so she's just kind of meditating in the background. but like they're the ones who kind of almost they're playing the game. They want to win the money, so they're kind of playing. And to be fair, so as you say, is Christian. Christian, as much as we kind of made fun of him being very, very, very enthusiastic about playing the game, in the challenge,
with shovels, yeah.
At least he was trying. At least he was trying to win the money. He was right into the
he
game.
got like quite into afterwards. He was like, "Oh, I'm a bit sad that we got rid of Geraldine. It's a bit upsetting." Kate was like, "Whatever. It's a game."
Chardonnay.
And he was like, "Oh," and then it was like, "Well," and then was it Siri? I think was like, "Oh, you're not doing a eulogy, are you?"
See,
and it's like, you know.
But this is what I mean.
I want these people to form friendships and feel guilty for banishing someone innocent, because that's the whole like the grit
feeling of the show
of the show is when they get bonds and not just be like, "Nah, it's a game show. Give me wine. Don't care.
Yeah,
is it time to go to bed yet?" It's like, oh, okay. So yeah,
I
do like Brandy and stuff. I mean, Brandy seems to be the number one target to be murdered in her sleep.
At the end of this episode, yes, which makes sense.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it does make sense because she's guessed two of them.
Yes,
and I wouldn't be upset maybe if she does go, even though she's funny. But it's like, I just want like, I want like the big
to go.
Yeah, I want the people who think they're icons to just go.
Yeah,
you don't declare you're an icon; you have to earn it. You know. So
I know. I think of the ones who are traitors, though, who are in the reality field.
I love judging people.
I feel like Cody is doing all right. I don't mind Cody. He's kind of playing the game.
Yeah, he's
joining in. But then he's from Big Brother, so he's from a competition show.
The same as Rachel, who is on Big Brother, one of red hair. She's actually being quite. She's taken a step back and been quite quiet and not really putting lots forward. That's what you need to do on the beginning of the Traitors. You need to sort of sit back a bit and then after like the first few are gone, that's when you need to then start doing it. But
I mean, there's going to be wild accidents. You know, we started with 20. It's not going to be where there's any kind of real logic behind it. But the thing is, as much as I know Brandy frustrates you, she is the one who's playing the best game in the sense that she's worked two of them out already, and not by blind luck either. I don't think. I think she's kind of hit them quite well.
She has. I do think that because they didn't at the end of the episode, they didn't really leave it up to like, is it Brandy or someone else? It's like
it's going to be Brandy.
And like normally when they edit it like that, you'll say, oh no, there will be someone else, and it'll be a. But I can't see why they wouldn't get rid of her, because she's picked the two traitors who think they're the rulers.
It's a risk.
Christian's just kind of there.
It's a risk though, because she's been very open. She's told the whole group that she believes it's Christian and C. So to get rid of her,
she didn't. She told Cody in the car that she thought it was Siri, but then at another time she must have said it was Cody to someone else, because Siri didn't know.
Enough people know though. Enough people know that they could then bring it up in conversation at the breakfast table. If she wasn't, if Brandy didn't walk in, people could say, "Oh well, you know, she said it was Christian and C," and then everyone will be like, "Ooh, okay, well that's funny." She's now out after that. She was very strong with her suspicions that it was them two. So it's a real difficult one. I think if they do vote Brandy out, I think both Christian and C, and Cody for that matter, have to be prepared to really redirect people's thoughts into maybe someone different. I mean, Michael's an easy target right now. Let's be honest. Michael is a very easy target to kind of
I'm just scared about what he's going to say next episode. Don't know what's going to come out of his mouth.
I've changed my opinion, by the way. I think he looks more like Billy Eichner.
Now you've seen him in real life.
Yes, now he's been given some screen time.
Not his Hollywood studio photo that we've been provided.
Ari, our mate Ari, from The Bachelor.
Yes,
he was a bit disappointed at the round table that Michael wasn't voted on. Michael wasn't thought
Shaking
about
his
more.
head.
He shook his head. He seemed visibly upset. Do you think that could work against him? That people kind of see that he's maybe Because a lot of
a few people have sort of put his name sort of gently out there because he's a bachelor. They suspect him.
But then they've kind of then followed it up with, like, whenever they've kind of put his name out there, then the person who they converse it to kind of then talk back to them and say, well, no, he couldn't do that. He's too kind. He's too soft. He was a bachelor. That's a really nice, warm show, you know, when he kisses 20 women and then gives them a rose. You know, it's a fine show. So but I just feel like his emotions are kind of getting away from him a little bit. And the fact that out of everyone around that table, he was the only one who kind of he shook his head. And I think that's, again, it's such a dangerous thing to do. You show one. It was
all Geraldine did look up to the
She was looking, wondering. Oh, no. To be fair, when they showed a clip of her, when they were all discussing her, and you just saw her around the table, kind of watching a fly, flying around her in the roof. Like
she didn't fight her corner very well, did she? Actually, or they didn't show it if she did.
She argued that she freezes. Well, no, she argued that whenever people start going at her, she freezes.
Said that on the bit to camera, not around the round table.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why she reacted like that at the round table.
Yeah, but she needs to say it at the round table. She didn't defend herself very well. That's
but then people might accuse her of faking it. Well, Michael said that he interact with people very well, and then Kate looked up and said, "Well, you're talking really well now." And so you know what I mean. So
that annoys me.
So I think you just don't like. I think you're moaning about this reality show stars, but I think you just don't like Brandy and Kate. I think you just have a real despite.
No, Kate says funny things, but I just feel. I don't know. I don't think she's there for the right reasons, the true reasons of the Traitors. She's not
$250,000. Their prize pot, 50,000.
It's going up very quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be going quicker
than
the UK.
10 episodes for the UK one to get to that.
Aye, but I mean, this is what I mean. I'd be really interested to know. And again, I would love people to get in touch and let us know details at the end of the show of whether the almost famous people are getting paid for doing this.
Moderately known people.
Yes,
that would interest me actually. Are they getting a fee for their appearance?
Yeah, because if they are, then that's every reason for why they don't give a shit.
Because the normal people, the normal working people,
yes,
they
get
white
collar.
I think they get like the UK one's got like £200 a day or something to cover a fee. Like,
do they?
They get something like that. Very little. But I wonder if the moderately known ones get a fee. Because that would be interesting, because that would make it like whatever they do, they'll get paid.
Oh, they're getting a pay, yeah.
They could purposely like just cause drama or whatever. But the one's doing that is Michael, and he's a civilian allegedly. So
he's an office manager.
Yes, Kentucky-based office manager.
Oh, Kentucky. There you go.
We should talk about the civilians, because they don't get any.
Well, they don't get any airtime, so we have nothing to talk to them about.
We've got Amanda. She's a nurse from Pennsylvania.
She cracked me up because she's an ER nurse. Nurses normally are very kind, kind of like they're caring people, and she's like, well, I don't care. I hope they all die.
I've seen death. I know what lying looks like.
Yeah, that's it. I know. I thought that too. I thought these poor little old ladies and men who are like in her ER ward who are probably just falling down the stairs, and she said, "You're lying. Get out my ER ward.
Your ankle's fine."
Yeah.
We got Andy. She's the athlete and the music producer. We like her. She's good.
I love Andy. I really like Andy.
She did doubt her game playing a bit this week, didn't she? She said something like, "I don't think I've been putting myself out enough," and she's been sort of stepping back a bit.
Well, put yourself out more, Andy.
We've got Angelica, the hairstylist.
Yep, we met her today, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. We saw her for one frame, I think.
Two frames. She had a line to camera, and then you saw her scrubbing the name that she wrote down off and then rewriting a new one on the chalkboard.
I would literally not have voted Geraldine because I wouldn't have been able to spell it, and I would have voted Michael because I know how to spell that. That's how my...
Just put G.
That's what my fear... Oh, yeah, I could. That's
just
what Christian did, didn't it?
That's what I do for C.
We've got Azra. She's the yoga instructor. We saw her for one frame when she hugged someone. I can't remember who.
That's good. Real.
It was with Andy. She hugged Andy and someone else.
Oh, all right. Quentin.
Isn't
he?
He's got a Texan podcast.
Oh,
and he's a political analysis.
Oh, be careful around it. What side does he lean?
I no idea.
Not that I judge people on their political leanings, but I might.
We'll research that for the next episode.
Michael, he's the office manager.
Michael, yeah. We've
Kentucky.
got Bam, Robert Bam.
Robert.
He's a tech sales executive.
Oh.
Christian, we know him. He's a retired army vet. Geraldine, she's gone, but she was an actress. Why is she an actress but not a moderately known?
Well, because she's not been in enough moderately
Also, she
known
can't
TV
act
series.
because she couldn't hide any of her feelings, could she?
Well, no, yeah.
Round that round table.
Don't start this. Acting
Maddie
is
was
different.
an actress on EastEnders and Casualty.
She did. She played a woman who couldn't have babies. Sorry, that's a reference to the British series to any
And
American listeners
Shelby,
watching.
she was sort of buried under the thing, like panicking a lot. She was buried, wasn't she?
Yeah,
That's
she
her.
didn't like being buried. She kept thinking things were in the
She's the one
grave with her.
who's faking her job, although she's not told anyone yet, I think.
Oh, so
about
she's
being
pretending
a
to be a nursery now.
nursery teacher, but she's actually a public affairs manager. I don't know why.
Why are you covering that
That
up?
needs to be covered.
What? That makes no sense whatsoever.
My job's boring, so I bet it's secret.
But again, a passing
Public
mention.
affairs. What's public affairs?
Isn't that like the council?
Yeah, that's
Like
what I thought.
working-
You don't need to cover that up, do you?
Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Very odd. But yeah, they're the civilians, everyone. So
there we
now,
go.
We're now up to date because we don't see them on the show.
We're filling in the gaps for you guys. Don't you worry about that.
And next episode, we'll go through the moderately known. No,
No.
we won't. We won't.
We don't need to.
no.
The
They're
production
too well
crews need to
known.
be doing that for us.
They're too moderately known. Don't need to.
But that's the other thing. It's like if they're so moderately known, why do we need so much airtime of them? It just worry.
Because they've been paid. No, you don't know.
It makes me.
I
think
do want to
that
know that. I need to research.
the production crew or the production company, Studio Lambert. They almost like they don't trust that the non-celebrities would do a good enough job for the show. Do you know what I mean? So they're kind of like
Yeah, I'm wondering
they think
that.
that
They
they're-
weren't.
they think that-
Maybe they were a bit unsure of
Yeah.
it. So they've put in half and half.
But on the British version, we've now seen that it works perfectly, if not
Hmm.
better. So maybe next time, if there is a series 2 on Peacock.
It's still good though. I'm still enjoying.
I'm enjoying
it.
every. Oh God, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. In fact, the cliffhanger on this episode of who might be murdered. I'm actually,
Will Brandy be murdered?
will Brandy
Yeah.
be murdered? Is basically the question. I really enjoyed.
How much wine has she drunk? Did she get her wine?
She's had too many of her sleeping pills and wine.
I saw randomly during her bits to the camera, she found a beret and put that on. Where'd that come from?
Oh.
Haven't seen that before.
Alan Cummings had a bet. Maybe it was Alan's.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe she took it off him when he was pouring the wine for her. She just popped it off his head, popped it on her own.
He seems to be having fun hosting though. It must be a fun show to host because the hosts seem to enjoy doing it.
You get to be a
Because
little
he's
bit.
having
You
a
get
bit
to
of
be
fun,
almost
isn't he?
like comically nasty, don't you? It's kind of yeah. It must be a fun show to host. And Alan Cummings, I must say, is doing an excellent job at it. I loved it when he was walking up and down the graves and he said, "Oh, did I hear something?" And you heard everyone screaming inside their graves, They're going, "Help!" I did like that. I must say. I again maybe because it was the British version, but I still think Claudia Winkleman's just slightly better. But that's not to say Alan Cummings.
Yeah, I think
I've only seen 2
I think
episodes.
he's still. He's
finding
it's
his
not.
feet.
I'm not noticing like, oh, I wish he wasn't him hosting.
Oh no,
You know,
not at all.
so
I
I-
like
yeah.
his hosting. I
Yeah,
love his
I think
hosting
he's
style.
doing a fine
It's
job.
camp as well. It's a little bit camp, which again is very Claudia Winkleman. I like a bit of camp.
I think
So it's
Alan
fine.
Cummings is camping himself. So there you go. Anyway, so there you go. So that's the episode 2 roundup, and then we'll get the next lot out very soon.
Yes,
But if
we'll-
you wanted to get in contact with us, how do they do so? Our listeners.
Well, as we said, we're recording them as we watch them, so
So be quick.
you can get in touch with us, and if you're quick enough, you may get read out on the podcast. So our email is faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter @TraitorsPodcast. Don't forget to like and follow. And if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps, you can catch up on the British series that are already out. And and don't forget to rate us as well if you're enjoying listening to us. Give us 5 stars because every little bit helps letting
Only 5
others-
stars though. If you're not enjoying us, don't rate us.
But you know, every single mention, every single comment, everything, share, let your friends know, and more people can hopefully enjoy the podcast as we watch along with you.
That's right. Lovely. So that's us done. And we will be back very soon to discuss Brandy's possible murder.